Ron and Brian podcast. Get ready to fill your ears with the latest news, politics, current events, and whatever else we feel like talking about this week. And now, your hosts, Ron and Brian.
And good evening, everybody. It is Sunday night. It is 8 o'clock. It is time for episode, what do we have here? 237 of the Ron and Brian podcast. Very impressive number. Brian, how are you tonight, my friend?
I'm doing great. 237, that number is very meaningful to me.
And why is that?
Well, as people who follow the podcast closely know, I recently had some blood work done. My cholesterol is actually 237. So it's very special that today we are recording episode 237.
Seems a bit high. Brian, I'm a little sleep deprived. You can see, even though it's 8 o'clock at night, it is very bright in here. My neighbors have gone full Clark Griswold on their Christmas decorations. You can see in that back window there, just the level of brightness coming from their house is ridiculous. And they leave them on all night. It's very inconsiderate.
What's so terrible is that it's so bright that it's actually coming through my living room window here in Queens.
That's what I've heard. It's covering a 200-mile radius. It is so intense. So
they said that it can be seen by the Hubble telescope in space. It's people who are in this Christmas spirit who overdo it, just special. They're just
they ruin it for everybody else. Yeah.
Ron, I have a question for you.
Yeah. And I always have answers for you, my friend.
What is that shiny object over your shoulder? Like you pointed
I told
off.
you that's the window there, and that's all the light coming in from my neighborhood.
No, the shiny object on the other side over your shoulder.
The other side. You're talking about this shiny object right back here?
Yeah, what is that shiny object?
And I don't know if all of our listeners are aware of this, that I am 51% owner of the podcast due to Brian's inability to make a good Super Bowl bet. He lost that percentage to me this year. And I feel I've been humble about it. I don't feel that I brag about it all that much. But I was thinking about it because there's no monetary benefit. We put the money back into the podcast. So there's no real monetary benefit for me having this 51% ownership for me. So I said, what can I do to kind of subtly let people know that I am 51% owner of the podcast, Brian? So that's why, let me roll back here and grab this. I am proud to be able to present live here on episode 237. The Ron and Brian podcast 51% ownership title belt. Let's look at this here. Beautiful gold belt. You got the logo there in the middle. It says 51% ownership. On this side, we've got Brian's photo. And on this side, we've got my photo with our tagline, now more than ever. So I have been...
Does it go all the way around the back?
I mean, it's got, we've got the snaps in the back. We've got a couple gold pieces in the back just to, accentuate the belt. So it's solid. It's heavy. It's 6 pounds of gold, Brian.
Really?
So I've been wearing this at times. Let me just kind of put this over my shoulder and just kind of hold it there. While we do the podcast here. So our good friends at Trophy Smack, I've been having some conversations in the industry, and you may remember Trophy Smack from Shark Tank. They got a deal with Mark Cuban. They said, we'd really like the Ron bump by purchasing a title belt from us. I'm like, what about Brian? They're like, if he comes along for the ride, whatever. We want the 51% owner. So they were good enough to supply us with this belt. Great customer service, great quality. I mean, I wish, Brian, that you would have had an opportunity to come down and see this title belt in person, but at some point. So this gives us something to really battle for when we go to the Super Bowl this year, because that additional 1% of ownership will once again be up for grabs as we go into the new year.
And it's weighted. It's got some heft to it.
It is 6 pounds. They said it in the listing. It's a 6-pound championship belt. I was, for the price, it's under $200. So I was concerned about the quality of this title belt. And when I came in, all my doubts were wiped away. I mean, this is a solid, quality American piece of craftsmanship. Great customer service. There was actually when it came in, there was a screw missing from the back of the belt that holds the plate on. I reached out. I'm like, hey, everything was great except this one thing. It's missing a screw. Like 2 days later, I had a bag of like 20 screws. So if we lose, if this starts to come apart, we can repair this ourselves. But just fantastic customer service, just a fantastic product. I mean, let me just
hold it up again, Ron, please.
Hold this up in front of the camera. I mean, it just
the
glimmers.
Logo came out perfect.
Yeah, I mean, again, you sometimes worry about how something like this, looks, when you're designing it online versus how it looks when it comes in. So I will, there will be times I'll go down to make my lunch during the work week. I will wear the title belt. I will just randomly carry it around the house on my shoulder. I can see why, wrestling guys, boxing, they want to win titles. And it's not for the accolades. It's more to be able to just, you look a certain way when you carry a title belt around with you.
Can you hold the belt above your head like Bret Hart did after winning SummerSlam in '94?
So just kind of hold it up like this, and kind of show it to the crowd, and
yeah. And then point to it and point to the crowd like you're in tears. Love it. I love it. So yesterday you showed it around to some friends.
We had some friends here yesterday, and it was very well received. The friends really liked the belt. One of them put it on. I let her walk around and wear it for a while. And some people, you'll get some negative commentary about items like this at times. Like some people might say, this is the most embarrassing and ridiculous thing you've done in the entirety of our marriage. But I'm not here for that kind of negativity, Brian. I'm here for the positivity that comes from being 51% owner. And so we will battle for this in February. Quick funny story. I've attempted to ask my wife if she would like to wear the belt or carry the belt around. She has not wanted to touch it, so she didn't realize the heft that this carried. So one of our friends had the title belt around her waist, and for some reason my wife decided to strike the front of it here and injured her hand, not realizing how solid this was. So I think she's got a newfound respect for this title as well. And again, it's now being referred to as the legendary 6 pounds of gold. It's one of the most sought after prizes in the podcast universe, and we'll have to look into replica belts on the web store. Because I feel this is going to be something that's going to be in high demand.
I already received a message from William Esquire, friend of the show, asking for how he could go about getting a replica title belt.
So you can go to trophysmack.com. They've got title belts, they've got trophies, they've got rings, just for anything, fantasy football, podcast ownership, Yahtzee leagues, whatever you have out there. Use
Ron, can I interrupt you for a moment?
Yes.
What microphone are you using right now?
Oh, am I using the wrong one?
I think you're using the wrong one because every time you tap the belt, your microphone goes off.
All right, how are we now?
Oh my goodness. 9 minutes into the show, we figure out what's going on with your microphone.
We know what it is. Unfortunately, Matt was not here today to do the pre-show setup, so I think that's probably, in hindsight, giving him his Christmas bonus in fentanyl, probably not the best idea that we've had. But again, going back to trophysmack.com, use promo code Brian Can't Bet to receive $3 off your purchase. Again, not a great discount, but it's such a great value that they are already giving you that I think it's worth it even at full price.
Now the question is, come February,
Right.
and Super Bowl happens. I believe
Yes.
this is Super Bowl number 76. Um, I win our Super Bowl bet.
I mean, it's
Annual.
possible.
I win. I'm the winner
Blind
of it.
squirrels find nuts. Broken clocks are right twice a day.
My point is, will there be a a natural handing off of power? Will there will you have your own January 6th like rally in suburban Philadelphia, urging the people to stop the transfer of power?
When I first ordered this, I said to myself, I said, "Self, if Brian wins this fairly, come February, I will give him the belt." But when you feel the surge of power that you
Sure.
get from having this across your shoulder or tight around your waist, I hope that I will have the integrity to hand this belt off should I lose the Super Bowl bet. But I can't, sitting here Sunday night, December 18th.
Yes,
I can't make any guarantees just yet. So we just have to hope.
What I find most entertaining about this belt is that your wife refuses to acknowledge it now.
Right.
That she has been injured by it, not just before she was emotionally injured. Now she's physically been injured by this belt.
Yes.
I imagine the level of hostility that she has towards it, followed by my lady's absolute, and this is just based on photos.
Right.
She has already announced that there's no way that belt is coming into this home. So it's funny how the men are desperately seeking out ownership of this belt, while the women in our lives have flat out rejected it.
Yeah, they are rooting against us.
Yes.
So I think either way we all win.
I think so, and I think that is what makes this world beautiful. Ron, I'm going to tell you something. That belt is a thing of beauty, and I'm proud. I am proud to say that it's 49% mine. So congratulations. I hope you enjoy it. Don't get too comfortable with it. Don't get too used to holding it, because in just a short less than 2 months, that beautiful baby will be mine.
We'll see. And Trophy Smack is fashioning you a 49% ownership belt out of used toilet paper rolls. So it's not going to have the same quality as this, but I felt like something should signify, maybe. Let me try the word.
Signify. Let's go with signify.
Your place in the podcast.
I will take it. We'll absolutely take it. Ron, I have a question.
Yes.
What are you drinking?
Are you saying it's time for Drink of the Week?
It is.
Drink of the week.
Na zdrowie!
Salud.
Drink of the week.
Sláinte!
Who's?
Drink of the week. Drink of the week. Drink of the week. Drink of the week.
Well, Brian, this week from our friends Founders Brewing out in Grand Rapids, Michigan, this is their session ale. This is their all-day IPA. When you are getting together for a special occasion with close friends that took the time to come out and visit, this is a fantastic beer. It is 4.7% alcohol, so a lower alcohol content than a lot of IPAs, which is why it's an all-day IPA. You can have a few of these while sitting around with friends, enjoying some good food, enjoying some good times together. And even though it's low in alcohol, it still has a great body, great taste. I mean, look at that coloring there, Brian.
Ooh.
Looks pretty solid. Let me just. I mean, I had a few of these last night, but let me take a sip.
How many more can this man have?
It's fantastic.
Walk me through the flavor profile.
Again, I like it because it's got that standard IPA. It's got that little bitterness, that little bite to it, but it is not too hoppy. And again, even though it is a lower alcohol content, still a great flavor to that beer. One that again, you get together, you have, there are so few what I would call truly special events in people's lives in a given year. And so when one of those special events happens, you want to gather your tribe together. You want to get people that are close to you and special to you and mean a lot to you and get them all in one place. And sometimes you're not able to get all of them in one place. But when you're able to get most of them in one place, you want to celebrate with a solid beverage. And I would say Founders All Day IPA fits the bill.
Wonderful. Very happy.
Brian, what are you drinking this week?
Ron, this week, everybody has, everybody seems to have jumped on this winter lager, bandwagon. Right. But not I. I'm still working on my Sam Adams Oktoberfest. It's my favorite beer of the year. This is one of the better known seasonal offerings from Sam Adams, the country's most prolific craft brewery. The color, it pours deep red amber. The notes, very rich in caramel, roasted malts, and a dark bread. There's subtle hints of baked sweet potato and nutmeg, also delectable. And I'm taking a sip because I still have about 23 out of my case that's still sitting in my refrigerator.
I will say, out of all of the Oktoberfest beers that come out each year, I would put Sam Adams high up on the list of ones I like to drink.
So good. Still so good.
And you're taking a second sip. I mean, that's how good it is.
In my belly. Ron?
Yes?
What's bothering you?
Oh, it's time for Beef of the Week.
Ron and Brian's Beef of the Week.
So what's bothering me this week is my cable company, Xfinity. And I'm going to tell you why, Brian. It's the holiday season, and there are certain holiday movies that are available for free, probably 9 or 10 months out of the year. But when you hit November, December, you want to go watch these movies, and then all of a sudden they've decided to start charging for them again. And so, Brian, what would you say one of the best holiday movies of all time is?
It's a wonderful, wonderful Christmas.
More modern than that.
Die Hard.
Die Hard. Okay. How about National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation?
Oh, that's a classic.
A classic. One that my wife and I love to watch. Normally free. Now they want me to pay $5 for a movie that was free 10 months out of the year. But yet...
Whoa. Who's making you pay for that?
My cable company. It's now... Well, they switch it. It's on demand, and instead of being a free viewing, it's now $4.99.
Oh, my gosh.
And yet, you can watch drivel like The Holiday, free of charge, and possibly one of the most problematic holiday movies of all time, Love Actually, free of charge. I hate Love Actually. It is now playing on the downstairs TV, and I am so glad to be not having to sit in the same room, because it is easily one of the most problematic holiday movies. But Christmas Vacation, solid, quotable. I mean, how many lines can you quote from that? I mean, and there's not... It's tough to say that there's a solid movie start to finish, but I would argue that there is really no downtime in Christmas Vacation.
Well, Cousin Eddie really comes to the forefront in this movie.
Yes. I mean, he's solid in the first one, but really comes into his own. And who here hasn't, at least one time in their life, uttered the classic quote, "Shitter's full"?
Shitter's full. I don't know that I've ever said that quote.
Well, maybe that's why you don't have the 6 pounds of gold around your waist, my friend.
You really do love that, don't you?
Yeah, cream of the crop rises to the top, Brian.
It really does sound sturdy. I'm not going to lie to you. It sounds sturdy.
It's very solid. I mean, again, I've slowly fallen in love with this. I tried to hang it up in the main bedroom.
Sure.
Vetoed right away.
Now, has your wife made any decisions? Has your wife made any? How do I say this? Is she willing to make love while laying down over the belt? I know that is a
Right.
traditional, a rite of passage for all true champions, is to take the belt, lay it across their bed, and then make love to their woman. In the case of Wendy Richter, she would make love to her woman also, back in the day. I'm not saying anything, but I'm saying something. But have you made love over the belt yet?
That apparently is a line that will not be crossed. So that's a hard no, apparently.
Have you made love while wearing the belt? Like only the belt?
Another hard pass. So unfortunately, not allowed in the bedroom at all, it would seem.
Okay. Now, are you willing at least just once this week to come, sneak this into the master bathroom?
Right.
Then go into the bathroom as your wife gets into bed, run into the bathroom, take off all your clothes except for your socks, leave your socks on,
Right,
and then
right.
come out wearing the belt naked.
I will, for you, I will give it a try, and I will report back as to how it goes. Brian, what's bothering you this week, my friend?
What's bothering me, and it's something that I think is a universal complaint.
Okay.
It is people who are not embracing the holiday spirit. There's a growing segment of people that I'm starting to interact with that seem to take pride in shitting on the holiday season, almost going out of their way to try to rob the joy of others. I had several conversations with some coworkers this week.
Right.
We know, I'm not the biggest fan of organized religion. I know that the basis of Christmas is the celebration of the birth of baby Jesus. You just keep rubbing that, Ron.
Sorry.
However, it's just there seems to be a lot of people who go out of their way now to to make sarcastic comments, to make comments, denigrating the holiday season. And it just seems to be like this one time a year where, people get around and, try to put themselves in better moods. Life is tough. Life is rough. And, if the holiday season is just a time where you just, you do a good deed for a stranger, you do a good deed for a friend, whatnot. Why take that? Why try to rob and steal that joy from others?
Exactly. And I would agree with you on that. Like again, talking about the Christmas light situation, I have not reported my neighbors to the authorities.
Sure.
Because again, I get it. This is them celebrating the holiday, even though I may not celebrate it in the same way. I am not going to be that kind of person that's going to steal their joy. It's a time of the season when, you want to be with friends and family, and celebrate love, celebrate friendship, celebrate closeness. So yeah, again, I may not celebrate Christmas the same way other people celebrate Christmas, but to your point, there are people that now think it's cool to be like, Christmas sucks.
Yeah.
Well, listen, is Christmas commercialized? Definitely. But, it's a case of, no harm, no foul. Like, as long as people aren't getting hurt by it, why not just enjoy it?
If it makes somebody happy to put up a Christmas tree, if it makes somebody happy to fill out Christmas cards and put them in the mail, why shit on it?
If somebody wants to get a title belt that says Christmas champion and wear it around their waist from Thanksgiving to New Year's, let them do it.
Ron, if I lose the Super Bowl bet, I just want you to know something. I will be getting a 49% owner belt. It will be an exact replica. Obviously, it will not be black.
Right.
It will have to be a different color. I'm thinking either green or red.
Okay.
And it will be 59% owner so that I can have a
49% owner. 40. Don't try and sneak 59% on there because the math won't math, my friend.
Damn it.
I do like the black. We almost went with the red alligator skin belt, and I don't know if that would have looked better, but the black is classy. It's a classic look with the gold the black, the red. And again, I mean, look, again, I don't want to belabor the point, but look how well the logo turned out on the front here. And I didn't think, I added our photos to the side plates. I did not think that they would have turned out as well as they did. Like, I am just... Again,
how do they print on the gold, if I may ask? Because that's a color print. Like, how do you print a color picture on a
they're definitely adhesive. So like the photos are they appear to be stickers somehow.
Oh, okay.
But a good quality one. Like you have to really get up close. Like it's not like they just printed out like a shit little sticker from like their own printer. Like this is high quality material.
Right. Do you think your wife would appreciate it if I got her a belt that said wife of the 51% owner and like put her picture on both wings of the belt?
I can ask. I don't want to answer for her. That's not a very woke thing to do, but I can always ask and see if that's something that she would be interested in.
All right.
Well, let's hop into the news. I mean, we may go back to the title belt conversation, but we'll see. I will, however, be hitting the belt at numerous times throughout because that seems to be something wrestlers do. But let's start off, and we have often talked about the hypocrisy of certain religious groups in this country, and I think this story kind of encapsulates that mindset. Going down to Virginia, there is a nonprofit Christian lobbying organization called the Family Foundation of Virginia. They were supposed to be having a private event at a place called Metzger Bar and Butchery in Richmond, Virginia, when they received a call before the reservation saying the reservation had been canceled. The reason the restaurant gave is that a member of the staff of the restaurant looked up the organization's website and found that it's really one of these organizations that lobby to try and take away rights from LGBTQ individuals and they're anti-abortion and all that. So the restaurant said we don't want your money. We don't want to host your organization. So now
that's great.
And now this Christian organization is complaining, feeling that they feel persecuted, because that's the word they always go to. We feel persecuted. But at the same time, isn't there a case in front of the Supreme Court where another Christian-based group is backing a company that doesn't want to provide, I believe it's wedding website services for same-sex couples?
Well, I think it speaks to the general hypocrisy that of the world we live in, especially groups within the right, which is that whenever there is a sense that their rights are being infringed, it is, a mountain to stand on and to scream that this is an outrage that cannot be allowed. But then, when the opportunity for them to cut ties with something that they do not agree with, they believe that they should be able to take their stand and say that they have a right to choose which organizations they work with. I mean, one of the best examples we've had recently was the wedding cake baker. I forgot what state it was in. I want to say Colorado.
I think you might be right there. Yeah.
But there was a bakery that had been reached out to by I believe it was a lesbian couple that were getting married, and the baker said that they do not believe in same-sex marriage, so they were absolutely not going to participate in any type of wedding cake for it, and got a lot of heat, and it went into the court system.
Yeah, it went to the Supreme Court, I believe, even.
I you know what? And I believe that with our 6-3 hyper majority of the conservative right running our Supreme Court, I'm sure that case will be given a fair shake.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. I'm sure there'll be no prejudice involved in that whatsoever. But
sure.
I personally applaud Metzger Bar and Bakery because listen, people want to argue about cancel culture and things like that. I would argue that just not being able to hold an event at a restaurant is not cancel culture. It is a restaurant deciding who they do or don't want to do business with. And I would think if you are true to your beliefs, as this group seems to be, you wouldn't want to provide money to an organization that doesn't share your values. So why piss and moan about it? Find a restaurant that more aligns with your organization's alleged hate speech, and provide them with your hard-earned dollars.
Sure. I think it's one of those situations where you have to pick one. You have to pick one approach you're going to take. Either you believe that establishments should be able to determine what type of customer base they're going to have, or you are going to take away that right and say that private establishments must not discriminate against anyone based on anything.
Right.
And you can't have it both ways. You
Right.
can't say, hey, I don't believe anybody should be able to discriminate against me because of my views, but I really want to be able to discriminate from others because of the views that they hold that I disagree with. You can't have it both ways.
Right.
If we are going to be a country that says you're allowed to discriminate as a private owner, then I'm all in favor of it. Let's just be consistent.
Sure.
I really do. I definitely do believe in if we are a capitalist society, which we claim to be here in America, let the power of your dollar speak for you. If there's an organization and you have some hateful views and you want to hold your party at a restaurant and that restaurant says fuck off, don't bring your hate here, then I absolutely think you should bring it someplace that says no, we do want your hate. And people should get to pick and choose. It's the most democratic system you can think of.
Right.
Is that you can pick and choose where you get your wedding cake from. And if there's a baker who sits there and says that they believe that the love that you share with your partner is not one that they support, well, let them go fuck off and not let them profit
and
off
find
of
another baker that does support your views, and give them your money.
Absolutely. I'm just a huge believer in that.
Yeah, there's not very many monopolies out there, and I would say wedding websites and bakeries are probably the most. You have the most options out there, and you almost feel that some people, try and hire businesses that they know object to their views just for, I don't know, whether it ends up being the publicity, the outrage they can get on social media. But yeah, I listen, if you want to deny service to someone, that's fine. Business owners have to make business decisions. And,
Sure.
If business owners want to make decisions that's going to take money out of their pocket, at the end of the day, that's their choice. And so, I'm on board with you, Brian. We're a democracy.
Thank you.
Yes.
Well, it's just as 51% owner, or as you like to refer to yourself now, the champ. I think that was very well said.
Thank you.
By the way, Billy has also texted me and said, can you please hold that belt up one more time, because the championship belt needs to be seen again.
It does, and I'm going to see if there's a better way to display it behind me every episode. There you see the front plate. I mean, again, just beautiful. Just beautiful. Let me drape it across my shoulder again. Just makes me feel warm and safe, just holding it close to my heart.
How many times have you played the Hulk Hogan? I'm an American. What was the song that Hulk Hogan came out?
Real American.
I'm a real American. Yeah. How many times have you played that around?
I haven't used that one. I've been using Shawn Michaels' "Sexy Boy" a lot because I like to kind of dance around with the belt a little bit. So I've kind of pranced around with a little bit. So yeah, so that's been fun.
I think that's wild, and the look of glee on your face is real. Like, that's the other thing. I can genuinely say that, like, there's a lot of times where I think, like, you smile over something, but that is a genuine smile. This is it's too perfect that we've gone with a championship wrestling belt.
It's it really makes the 12-year-old boy inside me very happy.
Absolutely. And here's the thing, William Esquire, very good point. Find a way to display it on the wall behind you. The problem with that is the fact that it's going to take him at least a month to figure it out. And by that point, we're only going to be about 2 weeks away from the Super Bowl, at which point I'm going to win our annual Super Bowl bet. So the belt will be coming over to me. If you see this wall right here, I've left that whole space right there. That is where the belt will be displayed. Just give me 6 more weeks and I'll have the belt up there. Here, good question.
Another good question. Will this be brought to AEW shows? Matt, get your shit together. Of course it will be. I mean, again, I think it is tradition for people to bring. And again, what's different is people bring replica title belts to these wrestling shows. We will have the actual championship carried with us. And I think, again, I think that's why it's important for me to remain champ, because if Brian brings this to an AEW show when he's in row double Q in section 385, no one's going to see this. But when I go and I have first or second row tickets on the floor, there's that much more chance that we're going to get some TV exposure.
Wow. That's hurtful.
I mean, even Janelle knows you can't display it in the front row because of Brian. So, what I might do is maybe I'll get like an additional camera and just have a camera on the title belt so it can kind of be our second, our third screen here.
Now, is it true? And I've heard some rumors over the past couple of days that you will be hiring a documentary crew to follow you all around the next AEW event that you attend.
The folks from Hard Knocks reached out. They kind of want to do this as a side project, and we're in discussions. The money's got to be right, Brian. You know how it is with anything we do. Money needs to be right.
Always. Ron, congratulations. Don't get used to that belt. That's all I'm saying.
All right.
Don't get used to it.
All right. Brian, Kanye West has had kind of an up and down year. He's being recognized by the group Stop Anti-Semitism. He has been named 2022's Anti-Semite of the Year.
Congratulations, Kanye.
Due to his, quote, threats of violence, hateful conduct, and hate speech against Jewish people.
Oh, you hate to see it. You hate to see it, Ron.
It's and what's with him always wearing the ski mask over his face now when he does interviews? I'm kind of confused by that.
Ron, he's an artist.
He's
an artist, and I think you have to appreciate the fact that he doesn't think linearly the way you or I do. He's pushing the boundaries of what is human behavior. He's saying it's okay to wear a mask. He's saying that it's about his words and his actions, not his face.
All right. Well, he won the award, earning more votes from the public than fellow finalists Mohammed Hadid, father of supermodels Gigi and Bella Hadid, who we're going to have to look. I'm not quite sure why he's up on the list. And John Minadeo II, who heads the white supremacist group, the Goyim Defense League.
Goyim
Defense League. They were the group that hung signs over a Los Angeles freeway in October saying Kanye is right about the Jews. Honk if you know.
Oh my God.
So we'll have to see if he can keep that going into the new year.
Sure.
I feel based on his commentary, he's more than capable of continuing to say hateful, dumb things.
Well, I think he's reaching that point where he's running out of things to be shocking about. And if you follow where, his career trajectory, and a lot of people are pointing to mental illness, and I think that's a crock of shit. There's a lot of mentally ill people, but if you look at what he has done, it is very strategic in the sense that everything he has, his whole career trajectory of the past years is how can he maintain a position of being the center of conversation. Right. It is at some point in his path, being a musician wasn't enough. Being a rapper, producer, artist wasn't enough. Suddenly he needed to become, the topic that everybody was talking about, whether it was his marriage to Kim Kardashian, whether it was, the fashion label he put out, which was called Yeezys, the sneakers, it was, and now that I think the marriage is over, now that you've seen the music suffer, the last album he came out with, I believe it was Donda, was pretty much, heralded on, by him and his team as, something that was literally going to change the definition of music as we know it. And I know a lot of people were very positive about it when it came out, and I think it kind of fell very fast. It was not, this. It didn't land in the zeitgeist of society,
Right.
and it just feels like instead of accepting that he is not like the center of attention anymore, he now has gone to, okay, well, where else can I go to make sure people are talking about me? And unfortunately, he's landed on Hitler did some great things as the way to make sure that people are still aware of him.
Now, do you think,
a fucking shame?
Do you think he anticipated that he would lose the backing of these huge companies? I mean, he lost his partnerships with Adidas, Gap, and Balenciaga, costing him what he is saying roughly $2 billion in revenues. Do you think there was a level of arrogance where he felt he could make those comments and still keep his business relationships, or do you think he was just okay with that? Like, he has his money and he was going to be okay speaking what he feels is his truth.
I think he was okay so long as they were these smaller deals, because that was going to be something that would keep. I think, there was even a quote from him in one of the interviews he gave, which is that, he can say whatever he wants. Adidas isn't going anywhere.
And yet
did. Then 3 days. And then 3 days later, Adidas, dumped him and ended their relationship. I think he overestimated what people were, where people loyalties were. And at the same time, he is playing a very dangerous game, because there is a history amongst society about where anti-Semitism leads.
Right.
And it very commonly leads to actual actions and violence against Jews. It happens.
Well, and full statistics for 2022 aren't out just yet, obviously.
Yeah.
But most police groups and the FBI are reporting anywhere from 6 to 8 times of an increase in hate crimes against Jewish people. And you have to feel, again, someone with a platform like Kanye can normalize hate against a group of people like this. So, I'm not saying he is bringing new anti-Semites into the fold, but I think he is definitely emboldening those that are out there to be able to, say what they want to say, commit the crimes that they want to commit. But I think what a lot of these folks don't realize, I think it's the same thing that the January 6th rioters have come to realize, is, if you don't have the money or the fame or the backing, you end up paying some pretty severe consequences for trying to emulate, these celebrities that you follow.
Yeah.
And good. I'm glad that they do.
Fuck him.
Yeah.
Absolutely. If the champion would never say anything like that.
No.
At the Ron and Brian podcast.
Listen, there is a level of decorum that you need when you carry this belt around, and I try and live up to that. Brian, you talked about people not celebrating the holidays appropriately. I think this kind of falls under that category, where a Florida man allegedly threw a Christmas tree at his wife during an argument that was sparked when she asked him to help make dinner. The individual in question is Richard Atkinson. I think we've got his mugshot here, which is really part of the reason we are doing his story here. So Richard, age 52, which that's a rough look. Like, this dude is 1 year older he's 1 year older than I am. Let that sink in for a moment.
Holy shit. That's a rough life.
So he, quote, lost his temper Monday evening after his wife asked for help and put a spoon in the sink, accidentally splashing him with water. He packed his things and went outside to his vehicle before coming back inside because he had been drinking. Shocker. And told his wife to leave instead. When the wife tried to go, deputies say Atkinson shoved her, picked up a Christmas tree that was in the corner of the room and threw it at her, striking her. He then allegedly blocked the front door to prevent her from leaving. He was then booked on domestic battery charges and taken to jail without incident. I would like, one important piece. How big was the Christmas tree? Like, if it was was it real? Was it artificial? Was it one of these little tabletop ones? I feel these.
It had to be, yeah. There's no way this man's working on an 8-foot, Douglas fir tree.
Right.
No way. No way. This man is working on a fake tree. I would say that his tree was slightly better than Charlie Brown's.
I mean, you may have something there. But again, this is New York
That's my
Post.
guess.
They don't give the thorough reporting that they should, unfortunately. Next up, we've got a woman who went to KFC, ordered some fries, which I didn't even realize KFC sold fries. I haven't been. How long has it been since you've been to KFC, Brian?
I'm going to say the KFC I have not been to in probably, I would say, 7 years.
Yeah.
And if I remember correctly, they had wedges. They did not do actual fries.
Yeah, it's
They
been
had
about 5 or 6
potato wedges.
years. Yeah, I remember the potato wedges that you could get as a meal. The coleslaw. The coleslaw used to be. I used to like KFC
Coleslaw wasn't bad. Yeah.
better than anybody else's. But anyway, so this woman.
I like their spicy chicken. I remember
Yes.
when they started doing the spicy chicken. It wasn't spicy in the sense of it wasn't like a Nashville hot chicken,
Right.
But it had just enough pepper in there to just give it a nice little flavor to it.
Yeah. Well, this woman bought some KFC the other day, got some fries, and got some extras with her fries that, of course, she took to social media to share with everybody, because there apparently was a variety of insects, one almost the size of like a medium fry, that were shown cooked into some of the fries. This is a photo here, something apparently called a damsel bug. There also seemed to be another one the size of a small grasshopper. I want to say this is in Great Britain, I feel, because she keeps referring to them as chips. Which is, that's a British thing. Apparently, KFC offered her a $20 discount for the inconvenience, but she has said that she's never going back. Oh, I didn't realize there were 2 bugs in this photo. There's this big brown bug right in the center, and then this green one in the lower left-hand corner. That's another bug baked into the fry right there.
Oh, gross. Now I have a question. A vegetarian, would they eat bugs? Is that included in the I don't
That's a good question. I would I'm not sure. I guess it would depend on, why exactly you've gone vegetarian. If it's that you don't want to eat meat, I don't know, is that technically meat? But if you are no food with a face, for Allie. So, I mean, that makes sense. Now, technically, I think the faces have been fried off these 2. So would that then kind of fall into the category of, maybe you let that one slide?
Do bugs do bugs have what's more? Do their mothers stick around and help raise the bugs as their babies, or do the bugs just lay the eggs and move on?
I think it depends on the bug. I think there are some, I think spiders carry around their young for a while, but then there's other insects where, the parents just kind of peace out.
Right.
Then you look at the praying mantis, who eats the head of the male after they mate. I don't know why I know that little bit of trivia. But
yeah, where do you get that? Where do you get that bit of? I guess that's why they call you the champion, Ron.
I mean, listen. Not just these good looks that got me this title belt, Brian.
The people needed a champion, and that's you.
Going out to California, because we don't want to pick on just Florida. We do have 49 other states which have embarrassing things. So the president of a California school district board resigned over the weekend after he was accused of paying high school choir students to perform at a, quote, private adult party featuring a dirty Santa and alcohol. Let me pull up this guy's photo, and you tell me, Brian, if in looking at this photo, this is obviously his professional headshot, This is Stephen Lanusa. Just that smile there kind of screams predator. Am I wrong here?
I'm going to say he screams, like cool principal. Like he
All right.
walks the hall. He's not walking the hall in that suit every day.
Right.
He's got special handshakes with some of the kids. He's learning that, like tip tap up down, like movements. He's, he's calling kids by their nicknames.
Right.
He walks through the hallway, hey, Big Sean, kind of deal. And maybe he also just every now and then, hands out alcohol to the students.
Well, and so this party went on back on December 3rd. Again, he paid for the high school choir to come perform, and then photos started to leak on social media. It was photos of half-naked male entertainers flexing their muscles, a Santa who was allegedly drunk and going around making inappropriate comments to some of the high school students. So he turned in his resignation a day after a special district meeting about the party, and police apparently are investigating the party, and there could potentially be charges coming forward from it.
There you go. What are your thoughts on this?
I think that's. I think in general, it's inappropriate. Like if you were having just a normal holiday party,
sure.
I think even if you were having a holiday party and you were serving some alcohol, I think you could. He's probably thinking, all right, I'm throwing these kids a bone. I'm gonna hire them to perform at a party, high school choir fundraiser, whatever. But I think when you bring the half naked adult male strippers, it would seem, into the fold, and then a inappropriate Santa, I think you cross the line. Then I think you do.
I would agree with that.
So, and again, maybe not the best look. Am I wrong?
You sure about that? Because I think it shows that he's being hip and cool.
I think there's a level of hipness and coolness that you can have, but then when you start pissing off parents, I think that's when you have an issue.
Yeah.
Moving on, and again, more hard-hitting stories from the New York Post. This one about an online influencer by the name of Marielle Mascialini, who has gone to her social media talking about a botched cosmetic procedure that she feels basically disformed her face. We're pulling up a photo there. The other photo was a little too explicit to bring up with her stitches post surgery, but so she went through, and this is what I don't understand. It was called a non-surgical procedure, but she had some clearer incisions made under her nose, down to her lips, under her mouth, and it was performed by a dental professional in Mateo, Brazil, back in 2020.
A dental professional?
Yes.
Now, what is a dental professional going to do?
I'm not exactly sure. So she apparently was.
Oh God! I just looked up the photo that
Yeah.
you said you were not comfortable showing, and I agree with you.
So she was supposed to be getting fillers in her face, and again, I don't know why you would then go to a dental professional for that. But she agreed to the procedure in exchange for advertising him on her social media accounts, which only had 15,000 Instagram followers, which is a decent amount. But if you found someone in Brazil, like if you were a national company, I could see maybe going with someone that has 15,000 followers. If you were in Brazil, obviously there's a limited number of those followers that you may get business from. So I would have been hesitant if I were her. She was under the impression that she was getting injected with hyaluronic acid, but a dermatologist found that she instead was injected with polymethyl methacrylate, which has been linked to inflammation and other complications. She is apparently suing the person who gave her the botched procedure, who is in turn countersuing one to prohibit their identity from being released, and another for defamation.
Sure. Jesus. what it just a sad, I think, we keep seeing stories of people who are, what's what I'm thinking of, in this lust for beauty, who are willing to go under the knife for these types of procedures, to help them go from a 8 to an 8.5.
Right.
Where you really are. I mean, this woman had some of her lips shaved off. She had literally a cut right across underneath the nose. She had some of her chin shaved off. You can even see the scars. And this. I mean, it's just it. Why would you do that to yourself? I mean,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong. I mean, God, just what a.
I mean, if you
what a
look at
fucking shame.
if you look at the photos of her prior to the procedure, she was an attractive woman. Like, I think, unfortunately, people want to get these procedures feeling the need to improve upon themselves, and and something like this could happen. Like, it's very sad.
So sad.
Going out to Norway, and
And you know what? And this is rude. This is rude. Allie says she would not put that up on a photo on a mug. It's why would you say that?
Maybe the mug needs a title belt. Maybe that's the photo. In hindsight, I should have used the photo on the coffee mug on the title belt. But I prefer your smiling face. I think that's a much better look.
Well, I think this is not this isn't like the NXT champion. This is the main belt. This is the world 51% owner championship belt.
Yes.
So I think it's I think you have to go official on this one.
Right. There's no half-assing it. Brian, I want to get your opinion on this next story. I'm still trying to wrap my brain around it. This is where a woman in Norway is facing up to 3 years in prison on criminal hate speech charges after she said a man cannot become a lesbian. Tonji Gelvgun, probably butchering that name. So she is a lesbian filmmaker and actress. She was speaking out against a Norwegian activist, Christine Jentoft, on Facebook. Jentoft is a transgender female that often refers to herself as a lesbian mother. And so apparently Tonja made comments about how it's impossible for men to become a lesbian as it is for men to become pregnant. Men are men regardless of their sexual fetishes. And I think this is where she gets herself in trouble, where she refers to someone being transgender as a sexual fetish.
Sure.
But then she goes on to say that she intentionally posted her Facebook message to draw attention to Norway's hate speech laws. What are your thoughts on this, Brian?
I'm not touching this story with a 10-foot pole.
Well, I guess
No. You are not dragging me into this quagmire.
No, why is that?
Because there's no good way for me to look at the end of anything I'm about to say. Listen, at the end of the day, I think, I think you've got a lot of people with their own agendas that are pushing a sense of my agenda is the only agenda, and therefore, if you do not agree with me, you are an evil Satan. And I just believe that there's a lot of shades of gray out there, that we are living now in this time where you have people fanatically saying that everything is black and white. You are either with me or you are against me. Mission accomplished. I'm trying to come up with other generic euphemisms to throw out there.
You're doing a very good job of treading water.
Thank you.
I'll give you that much.
And it's just a matter of seeing how this thing lays out. I very much do, as I've said, for the past 237 episodes, I believe that you've got a lot of people, and you have a lot of opinions, and you have a lot of different viewpoints. And I think that if you are going to take the approach that people need to agree with you 100%, or you are out of the fold, I think you are going to end up standing alone. And I do not believe that that is the right way for we as a society to move forward.
I guess the question was less, of people agreeing with your comments, and more, the laws that, where this woman may go to jail for 3 years because of her comments online.
Let her go.
All right.
Fuck it.
Fair enough. A popular Chinese street food blogger was stabbed to death while live streaming from Nepal in an attack that was allegedly carried out by a rival influencer. We do have a screenshot that comes from the video of the attack.
Well, that's graphic, Ron. Where's the warning? Where's the warning?
Trigger warning.
Allie, look at this. She's laughing at this man's bleeding. I mean, that's just terrible. Just terrible.
Chinese. Why am I picking stories with names that I'm gonna struggle to pronounce?
Ron, did you not realize that I only put stories in the share document that you're gonna struggle with names?
So I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna give it a shot.
You got it.
Chinese national Feng Zhengyang was arrested on December 4th on suspicion of killing Gan Suzhong, age 29, and injuring 32-year-old Li Chuzan.
Yep.
I think I did all right there. The violent knife attack took place last Sunday at the crowded Indra Chowk market in the capital of Kathmandu. Shocking video shows Gan, who apparently was known online as, quote, Fatty Goes to Africa, catchy title, broadcasting himself live, walking and laughing with a pair of friends when the scene is suddenly interrupted by a series of distressing screams, followed by wild shaking before the screen goes black. A later recording shows a visibly dazed Gan. This is the shot from that video. Sitting in the street covered in blood, while another person, believed to be Fang, can be heard swearing at him in Chinese. There's definite, influencer battles that go on, but I don't know that it's necessary that you need to kill another influencer because of it. I think that we can agree on, Brian.
I think that if you are of the mindset that you are going to be driven to an act of violence because somebody else has a certain level of social media clout for their reviewing of food in street markets, I think you need to really look at your priorities, reevaluate, and put yourself on a more positive path forward.
Right. Apparently, according to preliminary reports, Fang held a grudge against Gan stemming from multiple unspecified disputes and unresolved debts.
Debts?
Money.
How are you?
Debts.
Is there an underground market for money transferring and lending and loaning and loan
maybe
sharking?
there was some partnerships that they did, some advertising. You never know with these influencers. They got their fingers in a lot of different pies, Brian.
Do you think it's possible that the gentleman that was stabbed was actually a 51% owner of a shared YouTube food channel that they had, and that the 49% owner won a wager and was demanding the 51% ownership returned to him?
Well, I think, the video is a little blurry, but it does appear in the first live shot that he is wearing some sort of title belt around his waist, and then in the follow-up video, he is missing that belt. Now, granted, if he had a fine quality trophy smack belt, a knife's not getting through this.
Listen, it sounds so solid when you knock on it.
It's very, very solid. So, Brian, we did it again. We forgot this week to talk about our NFL locks of the week.
Locks.
Brian, again, I think at this point it really goes without saying the fact that you ran the table again today, bringing yourself to a perfect 30-0. I mean, and this is why we haven't done an NFL Locks of the Week title belt yet, because we would have to miss one in order for somebody to take the belt. But again, kudos to you. I really don't have anything else to say except I'm just so damn proud of you right now.
No. Listen, to me, week 15, just a real easy week to pick. Ron, at the same time, you also went 2-0. I know you're trying to rush me, but I will not.
No.
You're the champion. You went 2-0 for the 15th week. 30-0. How you did it before? You did it before, and you did it before that. how do you keep going undefeated in your NFL locks of the week?
This one was tough, and it was a case of really needing to get down, and you have teams that are playing for playoff positions, you have teams that are playing for home games in the playoffs, and then you have teams that are playing for nothing but pride, and then you have teams that are tanking it, trying to get a better draft pick. So I think it really this is the time of year where the cream of the crop rises to the top.
Sure.
And that's when you really need to dig down deep into these games and figure who's going to want it more, who needs it more, whereas who's going to kind of tuck tail and turn around and run. So I think, these are the weeks that separate the men from the boys, personally, in my opinion. So I think it was just a matter of just deep analysis and, just really, figuring out who is who and who isn't who, if that makes sense.
Who do you have this year?
This week, you mean?
That's what I meant.
Or for the year. It can be either.
No, I meant who do you have this week?
So this and for week 16 coming up, I have Cleveland -3 versus New Orleans, and I have Minnesota engineering a tremendous comeback yesterday. I've got them -4 against the New York Giants. So I think, again, it's a team that's running out of steam at the end of the season. Brian,
Perfect.
Who do you like?
I've got the Jets -2 over the Jaguars. Their season is not over yet. Also liking Detroit Lions -2.5 over the Panthers.
All right, I like those picks as well. Put money on them. Maybe you can buy a New Year's Eve ticket somewhere with the winnings you get this week. Speaking of which, next week we are taking a week off from the podcast, from the After Dark, so that we can celebrate Christmas. We're huge Christmas fans here. So next weekend we will not be around. We will post our locks of the week on our social media, so you can still make your wagers. And then we will return triumphantly in the new year, Sunday, January 1st. We will be back with our first recording of the year. We will also do our pajama party on January 1st. Normally we do it again the last Sunday of the month, but again, with this being Christmas, we love our Patreon subscribers, and we want people to be able to spend time with their families at the holidays, spend time with loved ones. I think if there is a theme that has run through this podcast, is that there are very important people in our lives, and we appreciate when they take the time to come to us and see us on special occasions. So I think everybody should celebrate that.
I think that's beautiful.
Brian, anything else? We've covered a lot this week. We've covered a lot this year. I mean, technically, this is the last show of the year. I guess also January 1st, I think we will have to give our predictions for the coming year, as well as review all of our predictions that we made in January of 2022. One of our more popular segments. It's always good. I will say this. You are usually better at your predictions than I am. Your predictions seem to hit a lot more, but we'll see. We will tally everything up, and we will see how it goes next week. Brian, any final thoughts as we finish off this last live show of 2022?
Listen, it has been a pleasure. Episode 237. We keep hammering this out. You are for me to be able to have spent another year sitting at this table, staring at you, listening to you talk about what's going on in your life. I think that, the pleasure has been mine. The luck has been, the fortune is on my side. I'm just glad to be in your orbit of greatness.
Well, I hope you don't mind. I was showing off the belt a little bit more because fans are asking for it. But I agree, my friend. It has been another fantastic year. I love you. I love the fact that we continue to do this each and every week. I look forward to continuing to do this in 2022. I look forward to, unfortunately for you, continuing to be 51% owner as well. But, we've got, 6 weeks from now, I think, is the Super Bowl. So we will definitely And we broadcast on Sunday night, so we'll kind of know in live time on Super Bowl Sunday on our broadcast that night how things are playing out. So it'll be a very interesting night.
Are we going to do the show during the Super Bowl, or will we do it earlier?
We'll have to see. We'll have to see how our schedules coordinate.
Okay.
We'll have to see if Matt is off his fentanyl by then.
I was going to say that it could be. What if we watch the game together?
We could do that. We could definitely look into that.
There could be a live transfer of the belt.
I mean, by that point, there may be a time where my wife allows you back into the house again.
It gives me 6 weeks to earn her favor again.
Yes. All right. Well, Merry Christmas to everybody out there.
Happy holidays for those that celebrate Hanukkah, for those that celebrate Kwanzaa. This is not just about the Judeo-Christian holiday of Christmas. I know, Ron, you are looking at the holiday season with only one holiday in mind, because that's the one that you were brought up to celebrate. However, this is the holiday season. There are multiple holidays going on. People around the world, billions of people are enjoying their own holiday. Let's be inclusive of them.
All right. Point taken. Well, again, happy holidays to everybody. We will see you in the new year.
Thank you for joining us on the Ron and Brian podcast. We're live each week on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. You can find prior episodes, links to our social media, and everything else Ron and Brian at ronandbrianpodcast.com. See you again next week.